Hi, welcome to Smarty Pants Secrets. I'm Denise Martin, and this is the show that helps you to kind of get a little edge on things on a given topic when you need a little help. You know, life is tough as it is, and there's a whole lot going on, a whole lot of data, a whole lot of online information that you can get. And sometimes really what you just need is the Smarty Pants secret that helps you to move ahead and shorten that learning curve and to be more successful. What a Smarty Pants secret does is it says that this is the most important thing you know, and if you know it, then it helps to, not that you can't learn everything else, because you should know everything, or you need the other important things too. It isn't necessarily the only thing to know, but it is the most important thing to know that helps to make success that much easier. And if you've been following the show at all, then you know that a Smarty Pants secret is a secret that is physiologically based, meaning that it works for everybody, not just some people. It works for everybody because we're humans. A lot of times people feel, oh my goodness, that just didn't work for me, but Smarty Pants secret will work because, again, it is physiologically based. It is grounded in the science of human beings, and so therefore it's pretty much a guarantee that it is true for everybody. So today's topic is on networking. We're talking about why you should network, why it's important, how it improves your life, your luck, and your career. Now you might think, oh, I don't think networking is that important, or it's minorly important, or it's maybe not even important, but actually it is rather important if you want to improve your life, if you want to improve your career, and if you want your luck to change at all. It's hard to believe that something as, quote, simple as networking could have that much impact, but it actually does, and for some physiological reasons that we're going to talk about. So let's dive into networking, talk about it, and then we'll get to the Smarty Pants secret. Networking is it kind of runs off of that proverb that maybe you've heard of it. It's called, or it goes, it's not what you know, it's who you know. So the important thing is not delivering the knowledge content or the thing that you're talking about, but it's who you're delivering it to. Well, that proverb has been modified over time, and over recent time actually, and it's now changed to it's both what you know and who you know. So it's not just about excuse me, knowing people, and it's not just about having knowledge, it's both combined. So you might say to yourself, well, okay, I get it. It's important to know people, but it's a lot of work to network. Why should I bother to do it? What are the benefits, and why should I kind of go through the work of putting myself out there when really it is a lot of work, and maybe I'm on the shy side. Maybe I don't want to go out and meet a whole bunch of strangers. Maybe I'm an introvert. Maybe I'm just reserved and I don't like putting myself out there so much. So let's talk about some of the benefits as to why it's important to network, and then we'll talk about how you might go about doing it a little easier even for the introverts out there. So one of the benefits of networking is that it lends a hand, it helps out, it lightens the load. So the physiological reason why this is important is because we live in a cooperative society, and because of that we like other people, we need other people, we can't get along without other people, and so when we network and we use other people to help us, it lends that hand to help out, then why wouldn't we take that help? Because we are basically programmed to help other people and to cooperate. A second benefit of networking is sharing resources, especially if it's a limited need that you have. It makes no sense to say, well, I just need to do something like I am working in the yard and I need to till the soil, but I don't want to go out and buy a tiller, and I could rent one, I suppose, but it's a big piece of equipment, and I think somebody I know may have one that I could just borrow for a short period of time or a one-time use. That's where networking is great, because it helps to share the resources that we have. Or I know something about something that somebody else needs to know, but they don't have that knowledge right away. So I can share my knowledge resource with the other person to help them in this limited case example where they don't have the experience and they need some help. So sharing resources, especially for limited needs, sometimes for longer term needs, but it's great to network and, hey, can I borrow this? Or do you have this that I can use? Or does somebody know something about this that would help me? So a good benefit of networking. That knowledge pool. Why would you ever reinvent the wheel if you don't have to? People are good at being able to say to other people, well, I know something about that can help you because I've stumbled through. I've made my own mistakes, and I am willing to save you all that time and aggravation. All you have to do is ask. So that knowledge pool is a great benefit of networking. How do you do something? Well, ask somebody who's done it before, and again, because of the physiological cooperation that we have built into each other, I say physiological, which means of the body. Actually, it is a developed inherent trait that we have, and more than physiological. So it's by necessity of the fact that we can't get along with each other, without each other. We need each other to get through this world. That cooperation is more inherent than physiological. But because of that inherent trait to help each other, then that knowledge pool is we're happy to help. All you have to do is ask. And another reason that's great to network is because of that inside access that you get when you know somebody, or you feel like you get. You get that VIP special treatment. You get that feeling of, oh, well, I can get a special deal or a special discount or something that other people can't get because I know people and they want to help me and they're happy to give it to me. And you know, we have all kinds of instances where this happens, where people get something and you say, hey, how did you get that? Oh, I know the man, or so-and-so hooked me up, or so-and-so helped out with this, or I just had to ask basically and it came forth. So that special treatment, that inside access, is a great way to have a benefit from your network, which is, whether it's large or it's small, there are people that have things that can help you, but you just have to know about them and then have to obviously ask or express the need. Then the release of endorphins is another great benefit of networking. Endorphins are the good, feel-good chemical that is inside of everybody's body that helps them to feel great about something. And so what it does is it says, well, I'm helping you out, and there's that physiological part coming in, and because it feels good to help you out, because I need to help out, help out other people to have that inherent trait fulfilled of cooperation, then it makes me feel good. And then you receiving it also feels good, but mainly it's the person that helps out feels good and releases those endorphins. So if you want to really help out other people, then you can pay it forward, or they can pay it forward, and either way, release of endorphins happens all around, which is a wonderful part of nature's just made us built to network well. Those relationship bonds that you have with other people are strengthened when you network with them. You call upon them and say, I could really use your help here. I'm looking for something, and I think you've got the answer, and I'm wondering if I can ask you to help with this, or I can tap your brain, or I can borrow something. And so those relationships are strengthened when we network with our network members that are in our network. And even if it's a stranger, it helps to strengthen that bond, which might be a brand new relationship that you help to develop. You have a chance to give back when you network. So we allow other people the opportunity to give back to us. And so networking is an important part of let's give and let's take. It's a back and forth that, again, is an important part of this cooperation that we have. We want to be able to feel like we give back because other people have helped us. We want to help somebody else. So a great benefit of networking. And then there is the one of making new friends. When we end up with somebody else's network that they included us in because they said, well, I don't know how to help you with what you need, but I know somebody who does, and then we end up making new friends and meeting new people because we've talked to them and we've networked with them. And another great way to, a benefit of networking and a great way to expand your network, which you really should do. So then networking has a lot of benefits to it. And the main reason why it works so well is because the rule of reciprocity. What reciprocity does or says, which is a basic law of social psychology, is that when you receive something from others, you must pay it back. if you don't, then you feel terrible until you do. So there's that feeling of, well, you helped me out, so I'm bound and determined to help you out. And that really is the core of networking. It's that feeling of you give and you give and you give, and then you will get back. You don't even have to ask, because it will come back to you because you're such a good giver, because of the rule of reciprocity. People feel like, I really want to help you out because you helped me out so much. And our society is built on that. We really feel like people that don't give back and that just take are, they're just not good people. And so we are programmed to believe that cooperation requires a give and a take, and therefore networking is the result of all of that. So taking advantage of that is the opportunities to network. So where are those opportunities? Well, again, they are everywhere. They're in your business, they're in your social life, and they're in your everyday life, and they are also in your business piece. People think of networking as just in business, and truly it does help to improve your career when you network successfully. You can also network in your personal life, which is not business related, that improves your life, and by doing both it improves your luck, because luck is when preparedness meets opportunity, and if you're prepared, and that's where the networking comes in, then your luck seems to change for the better. So it's a lot of times it's not luck, it's being well networked that gave you the opportunity that helped you to move ahead in life. So where do you network in business? Well, there are formal events that are set up to network. There's certainly online opportunities to network. And then there's the informal part of network, which is you are kind of not conducting business, but you're improving your business aspects while you are out and about. So wherever you are in the public arena, you could be kind of networking in that you are laying down the foundation of what you stand for, what you do as business, and what your brand is. And that should be happening a lot. Also, you can network in your own life in less formal, obviously, ways, but the formal part of networking socially is with parties. As you're at a party, you're basically doing the same thing. You're saying, this is who I am, this is my personal brand, and this is how I can help out other people. This is the value that I bring. Social media is certainly a way that people expand their networks, Facebook, LinkedIn, and other areas, and then informally, again, when you're at the doctor's office and whatnot. So let's look a little bit at these opportunities. When you're local, you can network at meetups. So that would be joining a local group. Meetups are a local group that have a similar interest to what you're interested in and that you can contribute to, and you can get something from the group. It's a great way to network locally. There are lots of groups to join locally. Opportunities to network among a variety of groups. Meetups is just one of the kind of groups that are named out there that are a little more formal, but there's other groups that you can also join that aren't meetups, that just have groups to network in, again, around an interest, around business, around a hobby, around a given topic. There's so many of them out there. And then another way, of course, to network locally is while you're out in public. You're waiting at the doctor's office, you're spending time. You can sit there, you can flip through a magazine, or you can network. As in talk to the people that are in the office, just to be nice. I was in the doctor's office, I was talking to somebody, we were talking about, regardless of why we were talking about what we were talking about, I learned a lot while I was there because I was talking to this man who happened to have some expertise in hospice work, and it was just such an interesting conversation, and I learned a lot that I wouldn't have learned otherwise. So I really appreciated that opportunity to talk with him and to learn something. You can learn something from people while you are in line waiting to buy, or you're in line waiting for anything. You're at the customer service counter, you're in a long line, you're basically at a line anywhere. You're at a line at Disney, I don't know where you are, but you're at a line somewhere, you're out in public, and there's an opportunity to network. You're at the grocery store, you can network with people who are also buying similar items or who are waiting in line. There's chances to network everywhere you are, certainly at the airport when you're waiting for a plane. There are all kinds of times when you're waiting and you're just sitting, and you could be doing work, you could be reading, you could be talking to yourself, you could be talking to friends, but why wouldn't you just also put networking in there as something to do, which helps to make the time go more pleasantly, helps you to realize that we're all in this together, and then you will, of course, learn something new, which is, I find, the best part of networking. Online. Where are the opportunities to network online? There are so many of them, and this is perfect for the people that are a little shy about doing it in public. It is so much easier if you are on the introverted side to online network, because you can join groups and you can not have to really be in person facing them and dealing with people. You're dealing with them obviously virtually, which is not in real time. Well, it might be in real time, but it's not face-to-face. So social media, anywhere you can have an exchange is a good forum to network in. With this, exchange is important because there are some places where we really don't have an exchange going back and forth. We have an opinion, and then the other person reacts to that opinion, but that's not the same as a dialogue. So I'm thinking about Pinterest, which is more of a place to say, here's what I'm like and here are my interests, and we're putting up pictures of them, or Instagram, but that's really not a dialogue. That is just saying, well, here's what I like, and then the other person can agree, or they can like your picture, or they can add it to their wall or pin it themselves, but it isn't the same as a discussion group or a community or a board, a community board that is topically based. These are the areas that you really want to go online and network in, because they are groups, joining groups, like-minded groups with people on LinkedIn has groups, Facebook has groups, clearly Google has groups. There's a whole lot of groups that can be joined. And so you want to make sure that you are having an exchange with these people, which is the true networking. Just to put up an opinion or have a dialogue isn't as kind of true as it is when you are having a back and forth exchange with people, which is different than just posting something. You post a message on Facebook as to what you are doing today, and then they post a picture of their kids, and then you like that picture. That isn't the same as joining a Facebook group where you can actually have a dialogue and go back and forth. That is really truer networking online than just having a large Facebook group of friends that you have as friends or as fans, but you aren't networking with them per se, or it's not the same networking. For real networking to be there has to be a relationship, and relationships take time and they develop over time. And so thinking about networking as more of relationship developing more than just posting something and saying, well, I'm networking with this person because I posted a picture of my grandchildren. That isn't really true networking. True networking is a dialogue around, what are your grandchildren doing? What activities are they doing? And there is an exchange of information or ideas. So anyway, you get that. The networking characteristics are great. So at this point, we're saying, well, to be a networker, then to be a good networker, what kind of person do you need to be? Well, there's a lot of characteristics that networkers are known for. One is they're very confident, good networkers, or great networkers, let's put it up higher. And they sound like a lot of extroverts, people that will go out into the public and take the initiative and step forward. And indeed, networkers are. They are very engaging, they are very energetic, they are very enthusiastic, they are appreciative people, they are tenacious, they are caring, they are all of those things. But you can hear that they aren't all extrovert qualities, because a caring person, a tenacious person, an appreciative person isn't necessarily the classic extrovert. The classic extrovert are the energetic, the enthusiastic, and the confident person. But the qualities of a great networker are both. They are all of those things, including having a lot of empathy, caring about other people. And so really it's a misnomer that the great networker is really an extrovert. Introverts can be very, very good networkers also. So what are some of the ways that an introvert can be great at networking? Because we're going to go through next and talk about some of the ways to network well. But let's first talk about how a introvert, or somebody who is, say, a little more reserved, a little shy, can also do these things, can go out there and put themselves out there. And there are some things that an introvert should follow in order to be a great networker. One is to kind of pick a system that works for them. Pick a way of doing networking that suits their personality. So you don't have to do it the way everybody else does it. You can do it a way that works for you, and then find a system and a way that you can put yourself out there, even if you're a little bit shy, without feeling like you have to be the kind of in-your-face networker, which really nobody appreciates. But there are ways that you can develop your own system and then stay true to the system. Run off of a script if you need to, and then practice that script so that you're very, very comfortable with it, because you've practiced it a lot. But you can run off of basically a script, which, you know, it's fake it till you make it, or keep practicing till it's perfect. The best people are the ones that are well practiced. And so if you are shy about meeting people, if you practice it, then it just comes more naturally. And also there are ways to open the conversation that feels a lot better than kind of that in-your-face way to do it. So other ways that introverts can be a good networker is to be a good listener. The best listeners are the best conversationalists. And so people think that you're a great conversationalist if you listen well. And of course, listening comes easy. Introverts tend to be great listeners, and they put out a question here and there, but as they listen well, they're thoughtful listeners, and they give the person their attention, which is a great quality for networkers to have, because everybody loves their attention on them. That is a way that they feel very cared for, with their attention on them. So being a good listener and being a good conversationalist because they're a good listener is a great way for introverts to do that. And then, of course, having that script in place, having a plan in place, and then scheduling your networking sessions for times when it's the best time of day for you is also important. Introverts feel like it takes a lot of energy, and sometimes they need to go back and recharge. And if that's you, then picking a time of day that is good, that you want to be out there with other people, and then limiting it. Put a time limit on it and say, yep, I've got a goal. I'm going to be out there. I'm going to meet 3 new people, or I'm going to put out 3 things online. I'm going to interact with 3 people, whatever the goal is for the day, and then I'm done. And so scheduling your time to your best times, and then when you're done, reward yourself, and recharging is a great way for introverts to take advantage of the networking opportunities that really you don't want to miss because you're just too shy to do them. So let's talk about some of those ways that there are to network. And there are the proper and the improper ways of things that you should do. So looking at the ways to network, one way, or one thing you should do, is to act like the host, is to introduce yourself to others who can help problem solve. So instead of saying, hi, I'm Denise, and I'd like to hear who are you, it's great if you've been talking to somebody and you can say, Jim, I'd like you to meet John. John is doing something that you're similar to doing, or Jim, I hear, you've been talking to Jim for a while, and you hear that Jim has a problem, and you say, you know what? I know someone who could really help you. So basically, you are networking your network to help the other person. So you're expanding it by saying, here's the problem that Jim has, and I know somebody who might be able to help with that. So you're offering that before the person even says, do you know anybody who could help with this? You say, hey, let me get you in touch with John. He is perfect for what you need, Jim, because maybe you can't do it. Maybe it's not you. So introducing people to other people is a good way to network properly. Another way is to Not be going into networking thinking, how can this person help me? But to go in thinking, how can I help this person? Remembering that we want to, the rule of reciprocity basically, and that if you help other people, it will come back to you. So share everything that you have to share, your knowledge. It doesn't mean you have to share all of your possessions and everything that you don't want to give up. That is, I had an uncle that was like that. He gave away the farm, and his wife was annoyed because the minute someone would say, oh, that's nice, he'd say, oh, you like it? Have it, it's yours. That's not what we're talking about here. That is really not the essence of networking. It's more about sharing knowledge and sharing ideas and sharing your friends that are in your network to help to problem solve the other person. Yes, sharing your resources slightly is important, but you have to remember that if you do share, it has to be something that you're okay with if you don't actually get it back, or you're willing to share if you really trust the person, which is way down the road if it's a big, big item. So there has to be a relationship that's built before that sharing can take place. But do share your knowledge freely, do share, and think about how you can help this person from a knowledge point of view. Another way to help in networking is to make the first move. If you take the initiative and you start the conversation with an open-ended question that you can help with, then that is a good way to network properly. So going in and saying, what's a challenging thing for you today? How can I help out? You never know who I know. So what challenge are you facing today is a nice open-ended question to open a conversation with somebody, which will take them by surprise. Another way to network is to remember their names when they tell it to you. Use them, but don't overuse their name. So remembering their name, and the thing about names is you want to remember their name, but not necessarily use it too much, because there's nothing worse. If you feel like you're being played when somebody overuses your name, and I know people do it sometimes because it's the only way they can remember your name is to use it a lot, but really you just want to use it, but use it strategically. Don't be overusing the name. And then if you say that you'll help somebody with anything, you have to remember that those promises need to go on for, as you make those promises, you need to follow up with that promise 24 hours, 48 hours at the latest, if you can. If you can't, then you state to the person, okay, I can put you in touch, Jim, with John, but that won't happen because John's on vacation. So give me a week, and when he gets back from vacation, I'll get you guys in touch with each other. Or I can loan you this, but I can't do it for a while. Or I can come over and help you do this, but I can't do it this weekend. Whatever it is, you need to kind of state the time frame and then live by the promise. And if you say, I'm going to send you something that I think will answer that question, or I'm going to, I have something that I think you'll appreciate reading, or I have a book you can borrow, whatever it is, make sure that you follow up on whatever you promised within a very, very timely amount of time, or that's not good networking. Then you look like somebody who just promises stuff that you can't deliver. Do keep in touch without selling anything. You know, it's keeping in touch with people. There's a lot of ways we can keep in touch. We can drop them a note. We can give them a card. We can call them on the phone periodically. Don't overdo it, but just kind of touch base and say, oh, I was thinking about you, or I saw this and I thought that you'd appreciate this. So touching base with people on a regular basis is the proper way to network without saying, oh, now that we've got a relationship, how about buying from me? Of course, it's not a good way to network. Do smile a lot. Smiling is very important. And smiling, when you know that it's a good smile, it's that smile that comes from the eyes. You can tell when people are smiling the right way because their eyes crinkle and the muscles in the eyes actually show that it's a genuine smile. That fake smile where the eyes just don't move, regardless if they've had Botox or not Botox, that fake smile, people actually know when it's fake, and if you're asking for something and it's a fake smile, they actually are offended because it's fake, clearly. So be sure to smile genuinely. Do show curiosity and interest. That tends to draw people in. The curiosity is engaging, and when you are interested, and you can do this, of course, by asking interesting questions. And then remember to have a way to record what it is that you've made promises of, or the information about the person that you're networking with. So we think we're going to remember their name, their phone number. Let me get back to you. Give me your email address so that I can send that to you. Whatever it is, if you don't have a pen and paper on you, then of course you can put it into your phone as a note, but do have a way, because you can't trust your memory. And if you miss your memory, then the next thing is that you renege on your promise because you can't remember, and so on and so forth. So remember to have that. And then do have 2 to 4, 3 to 4, 2 to 4, whatever you want. Prepared topics at the ready. I would have no fewer than 2, four is probably a good number. And what are those topics? Those topics are something that you can talk about, especially if you're an introvert and you want to network and you don't want to be too tongue-tied and you have nothing to say. So you have that current event that you're ready to talk about. You have a general topical interest thing that is like outside of the news, but just general information, or a hobby that you have. Something of local interest is a good topic to have prepared, and then something that you are very passionate about. So have those ready, and then when it's time to network, and then you're not caught short. You're not saying, I don't know what to talk about with this person, because you are prepared. So what are some of the things you shouldn't be doing? Well, there's a whole list of them, so let's get through those. Don't try and conduct business, and by conduct business mean hit the person up for something before the relationship is ready. There's nothing worse than you've just met somebody and you're asking them for something. That is not a good way to network. Don't be one-sided. It's about give and take for things to happen. If it's just you taking and not giving, that's not networking. If it's about you giving all the time and not allowing the other person to give you back, again, rule of reciprocity, you're going to make them feel terrible. So that's not networking either. So do allow it to be a back and forth relationship. Don't try and be cool and start bragging about yourself. You got that person that always needs to one-up the other person. So they're having a nice conversation with somebody, and oh, you think that was bad. Let me tell you about this. Oh yeah, let me tell you about what happened to me. Oh, and all that stuff. Don't do it. Don't open with what do you do? And the reason what do you do is kind of a tough question is because it shows interest in the other person, yes, and you can ask it down the road a piece, but it's not the great way to open a conversation. The great way to open a conversation is with a compliment, is to say something nice about the person, compliment them genuinely, of course, with something that you notice that you want to make mention, and then come back in with the what do you do, but you don't necessarily have to open with that. A compliment is a great way to open a conversation, especially for somebody who's a little more reserved, because it's a nice way to say, I noticed that you have a great way about you, or I noticed that you have a beautiful bracelet on, or I noticed that you're very articulate. So those kinds of ways to open is a great way to start the conversation. Don't state your name right away, which is kind of funny because people think that that's the best ways to state your name, is to right away say, hi, I'm so-and-so. And if you do say, hi, I'm so-and-so, as you're networking with somebody in person, then you want to make sure that you come back later and say, oh, did I remember to tell you my name is Denise? Because people, the way the brain works is that you cannot remember a name, which is really not easy to remember. One of the hardest things people have to remember are names and faces, is because there's nothing to hook it to. So when you just state your name right away and say, hi, I'm Denise, nice to meet you, chances are very good they didn't even process that unless they know somebody else named Denise that they're comparing you to. So first thing is out of your mouth isn't stating your name, it's possibly that compliment. And then as you go down a little ways into the conversation and they've got some hooks that they can hook your name to, then you come in with, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't introduce myself, I'm Denise. And that's when you want to do your name. Don't complain. Really, when you're networking and you're complaining about the event, the people, the weather, you just sound like a complainer and a whiner, and people don't like to be around networking around people that are complainers. So complaining isn't the best way to start networking with somebody. You want to instead be helping them. Don't take yourself too seriously. When you do that, then of course you get a little bombastic and it goes back to the bragging, all that stuff. So remember, we're all in it to have fun. Just go ahead and have fun. And don't hang with your friends when you're at a networking event. This is more of a formal thing, or if you're at a party and you're just hanging with your friends. Try and meet new people, because you're there for that reason, is if you're truly trying to network. So you want to make sure that you are meeting the people that are there so that you can expand your network. I mean, it's not like you ignore your friends, but don't hang with them the entire time that you're there and spend the whole, unless it is truly a social party that you're there and everybody is your friend, well, that's different. But I'm talking about when you're at an event where there's a lot of people to meet. Don't be looking around for a better opportunity. A lot of times when people are networking, they're not giving the person their full attention. They're either looking over their shoulder for somebody else, they're looking around the room to see who else is there, they're looking at their watch, they're looking to see if there's something else, and it really feels to the person like you're wasting their time by talking to you. So do not do that. And don't talk yourself more than 30% of the time, because you're there to talk about the other person and to add value. So your time is being spent really asking questions and not going on and on about yourself and how great you are. So I wanted to move at this point to the Smarty Pants secret, because we've covered then the great way to network, why it's important, how everybody could network and should network. And so the Smarty Pants secret of networking is that the more you give, the more you'll receive, due to the rule of reciprocity, which again, everybody has in them because of the way we're built, that we need to be cooperative. And without reciprocity, our society would basically not run smoothly and tend to fall apart. So when we do engage this rule of reciprocity, we tend to overcompensate more than what we were given, because we want to make sure that we don't welch on the deal, that we want to make sure that we have given more than we received, or we just feel terrible if we want to overdo it. We don't want to feel like, oh, well, you gave me a gift and I gave you this small gift in return. So we tend to overdo, and that's the same with networking. If you give and give and give, you will get back more than you think that you gave, because everybody is feeling like they want to, you're such a nice person that they want to give back. And the bigger your network expands, the more people you can connect with effectively. So the Smarty Pants secret on networking is that you want to be effective in your networking. Don't go out there and just have a huge network for the sake of knowing a million people. It's to maintain a good relationship with those people and have an effective network in order to reap the rewards. So having a relationship that is an important one is what I want you to, work at it. Relationships take time, and they're worth having. And if you can maintain a lot, then you have a good, strong network, then you are a great networker, regardless of whether you're an introvert or an extrovert. I hope this was helpful in increasing your luck and your career by stronger networking skills. And if you have a topic that you'd like to see, please do email me at info@smartypantssecrets.com, and we'll look about getting that on the air for you. And other than that, happy networking, and remember that Smarty Pants Secrets, because you're no dummy. I saw you come in when you first